ప్రోడక్ట్స్ ని, టెక్నాలజీస్ ని మరియు సర్వీసెస్ ని రైతులకి, ఎఫ్పిఓస్ కి పరిచయం చేయడం కోసం ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ని మేము రూపొందించాం. ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ వరంగల్ మరియు జగిత్యాల్లో మేము సుమారుగా 250 రైతులకి, ఎఫ్పిఓస్ కి, ఎఫ్పిఓ లీడర్స్ కి ఈ 7 గ్రామీణ ఆవిష్కర్తలు మరియు స్టార్టప్లని పరిచయం చేస్తున్నాం. ఈ ఇన్నోవేషన్స్ మా పరంగా వ్యవసాయానికి మరియు వాతావరణ మార్పులు మరియు వ్యవసాయ ఆధారిత బిజినెస్లని సపోర్ట్ చేయడం కోసం పనికొస్తాయి. యాగబ్ యొక్క సంకల్పం ఇన్నోవేషన్స్, అంకుర సంస్థలు, స్టార్టప్స్ ప్రోత్సాహకం కాదు, ఇలాంటి ఇన్నోవేషన్స్ రైతులకు అందుబాటులో తేవడానికి ఈ గ్రామీణ ఆవిష్కరణ కేంద్రాలు అంటే మా యాగబ్ యొక్క రూరల్ ఇన్నోవేషన్ సెంటర్స్ రూరల్ ఇన్నోవేషన్ స్పోక్స్ ద్వారా ఈ ఇన్నోవేషన్స్ ని రైతుల ద్వారా తీసుకెళ్ళడం. ఈ ఇన్నోవేషన్స్ రైతుల ద్వారా తీసుకెళ్లే ఈ కార్యక్రమంలో మేము యాగబ్ యొక్క అగ్రిటెక్ మార్కెట్ యాక్సెస్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ని సంకల్పించడం జరిగింది. ఇవాళ చాలా సంతోషంగా ఉంది. అగ్రిటెక్ మార్కెట్ యాక్సెస్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ద్వారా ఇలాంటి వినూత్నమైన స్టార్టప్స్ మరియు ఇన్నోవేషన్స్ ని మేము రైతులకు అందించాము. చాలా మంచి స్పందన వస్తుంది. రైతులు ఇలాంటి ప్రోగ్రామ్ చాలా కొత్తగా ఉంది. ఎన్నో ఏళ్ల నుంచి మేము ఇలాంటి ట్రైనింగ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ వింటున్నాం. కానీ ఈ ఉన్న ట్రైనింగ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ ఇలాంటి డిజిటల్ అగ్రికల్చర్ క్షేత్రంలో ఇలాంటి ఇన్నోవేషన్స్ మరియు స్టార్టప్స్ వినడం మాకు ఇదే మొదలు. చాలా కొత్తగా ఉన్నాయి. వ్యవసాయానికి కొత్త కొత్త మార్పులు వస్తున్నాయి. డ్రోన్ యొక్క టెక్నాలజీస్, అలాగే ప్యాడీ ట్రాన్స్ప్లాంటర్స్, పౌల్ట్రీ రేకింగ్ మెషిన్స్ అనండి, లేకపోతే ఇలాంటివి అగ్రో ఫోటోవోల్టాయిక్స్, సౌరశక్తిని మనం ఎలా వ్యవసాయంలో వాడుకోవాలి, అలాగే మనం రోబోటిక్ వీడర్స్, అలాంటి కొత్త కొత్త మెషిన్స్, అలాంటి కొత్త కొత్త టెక్నాలజీస్ ని చూసి రైతులు, గ్రామీణ మహిళలు మరియు ఎఫ్పిఓ లీడర్స్ చాలా ఔత్సాహికంగా, చాలా శ్రద్ధగా విన్నారు. చాలా శ్రద్ధగా వాళ్ళు విని ఇది వ్యవసాయానికి చాలా కొత్త మార్పు. వ్యవసాయం అనేది అగ్రికల్చరే కాకుండా, రీసెర్చ్ బేస్డ్ అగ్రికల్చరే కాకుండా ఇది ఒక డిజిటల్ అగ్రికల్చర్ పరిణామంగా చెందుతుంది. ఎలాగైతే మొబైల్ ఫోన్ అనే ఒక టెక్నాలజీ అందరు అందుబాటులో వచ్చిందో, రైతులు మరియు సైంటిస్టులు, ఇక్కడ వచ్చిన శాస్త్రవేత్తలు అందరూ అదే అభిప్రాయపడ్డారు. ఇలాంటి అగ్రిటెక్ మార్కెట్ యాక్సెస్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ ఇంకా జరగాలి. ఇలాంటి ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ ద్వారా మరియు యాగబ్ యొక్క సంకల్పం ద్వారా ఇలాంటి అంకుర సంస్థలు, స్టార్టప్స్, ఇన్నోవేషన్స్, ఇలాంటి అగ్రిటెక్ మార్కెట్ యాక్సెస్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ద్వారా రైతుల్లో అందుబాటుకు వస్తే రైతుల్లో కొత్త కొత్త ఆలోచన విధానాలు, రైతుల్లో ఉన్న సమస్యల్ని అధిగమించడానికి ఇలాంటి ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ బాగా తోడ్పడతాయని అందరూ అభిప్రాయపడ్డారు. ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ కి మాకు మళ్ళీ ఈ అవకాశం ఇచ్చిన ఈ కాస్పియన్ ఇంపాక్ట్ ఇన్వెస్టర్స్ కి మాకు అవకాశం ఇచ్చి యాగబ్ కి ఇలాంటి అగ్రిటెక్ మార్కెట్ యాక్సెస్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ కండక్ట్ చేసి రైతులని ఎఫ్పిఓస్ కి కనెక్ట్ చేసి, స్టార్టప్స్ ని ఎఫ్పిఓస్ కి కనెక్ట్ చేసే ఈ అవకాశం ఇచ్చినందుకు కాస్పియన్ ఇంపాక్ట్ ఇన్వెస్టర్స్ కి మా కృతజ్ఞతలు. మరియు మా డోనర్స్ నాబార్డ్, మినిస్ట్రీ ఆఫ్ ఫుడ్ ప్రాసెసింగ్, ఎంఎస్ఎంఈ and Government of Telangana ki ma kృతజ్ఞతలు.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to MyStartupTV.
Welcome to all of you to CCMB and for this workshop. Thank you, Ramji, for asking me to speak for a while about guidelines, novel healthcare solutions. Not really my topic, but nevertheless. I'll just give a brief, very brief background of what CCMB is all about. And we actually kind of started off almost 37 years ago in 1977. And at a later point of time, we started off in this building across in 1987 on November 26th. Since then, it has expanded. Now we have quarters which are located a little bit nearby, but a separate campus. And then we also have CRF, that is where AIC is currently located. And we have Lacons, which is a bit far away. And we also have acquired around 48 acres of land in the last 2 years ago. In total, we have around 70-80 acres of land across Hyderabad. And we are going to be part of Bio-E3 policy that is happening, and where Telangana is planning to set up a new place. And we will be working along with other institutes to be part of that. And we are also going to contribute in that context in one area so that it can be beneficial for biomanufacturing in India. These are some of the things that we actually this is the background. And as an institute, from the start, the emphasis was on doing high quality basic research, which is cutting edge, and there has to be some level of societal benefit. And in that context, in 1988 itself, the first impact was made where the DNA fingerprinting was actually started in CCMB by Dr. Lalji Singh. And at a later point of time, we went on to develop wildlife diagnostics. That is what has led to Lacones. And wildlife diagnostics is important because we test around 300 samples, variously, mostly coming from forest department and other things related to sensitive matters like poaching. And then we also have started diagnostics per se. So the diagnostics specifically focused on rare genetic diseases is basically something which is we do it as both as a societal work also because it's an area where not many people are present, and we are kind of the referral lab for many government places. And then we have these are some of the things that we have started, and in addition to that, Lacones has very strong work on all the way from snake venoms to centipedes and the evolution, biodiversity, and finding out metabolomes, and literally finding out whether that has any particular thing to prediction for pregnancy of animals, and lots of other aspects. So as an institute, in addition to this, we were involved in this coming up with improved for Samba Masuri rice, coming up with a diagnostic which is recently approved for sickle cell anemia, both confirmatory as well as, detection as well as confirmatory. That is by Dr. Chandak, who's sitting there. And basically, some of these other aspects have been done. mRNA vaccine, we were the ones to kind of do it first. So there are lots of other work that we have done over a period of time, both in animal thing and others. In 2017, I think Dr. Rakesh Mishra has taken the plunge to get into incubation arena. And that's how the Atal Incubation Center has started. And you can very clearly see that particular efforts have gone quite well. In the last 7 years, they have incubated around 150 different incubators have gone through the place. And if you go there, the place is literally, one of the pretty well equipped. And also they have access to all the CCMB facilities. So in one sense, we have reasonable ecosystem. However, can it be improved? Yes, it can be improved. We'll work on that, whatever needs to be done. With the Bio-E3 policy coming in, and we kind of have to work in a way that we leverage our strengths in AIC, and all the startups should be using this in a way to kind of establish themselves in more biomanufacturing area. It's a step in the right direction. So that's one thing. If we don't use, it's our fault. But that is an opportunity for all of us. Our contribution was very significant during the pandemic, where we were, CCMB was one of the first institutes in India to start the testing, and in fact, even teach many other people across the board. And in the process, we helped test medical devices, and we even evaluated various other testing, kits. We were one of the kids, one of the people who are involved in certifying things at that point of time. So that's why, in case of when you start now talking about novel healthcare solution, I believe it's an holistic thing. Regulatory aspects of, with respect to approvals and how do we go about it is a black box for many. And if you were to ask me, even I do not know the complete details, but certainly a big black box. For students and all, it's like something like that they really don't care to remember, nor do they want to, because their research per se does not involve the regulatory landscape, knowing about regulatory landscape. And this becomes more, if you have the ambitions to be an entrepreneur, you actually have to understand the regulatory landscape of India. And it has its own hoops. And but there is a lot of effort from the government, especially DCGA and all, to make this regulatory aspects a little more, I would say more friendly to the stakeholders. And so this is an aspect, I think it's a step in the right direction to have a discussion on this, a workshop on this, to make people aware of the regulatory landscape and guidelines, how one can do it and how we can actually look into healthcare, come up with healthcare solution. There are multiple things. One, you come up with solution in terms of kits, and then you have a reasonable number of hoops to take care of. Or if you are having a medical device, and it's a different set of hoops. But nevertheless, this is something we need to really know if you want to go forward and be a part of if your technology slash kit slash the method or the equipment that you developed has to be mainstream, part of the mainstream, one has to understand this landscape, right? And the aspect that other I want to touch upon is this is actually a scenario that is sponsored by BFI Biome, and we have a close working relation at both at the institutional level and at the AIC level with BFI Biome. And we kind of set up partnership with BFI Biome. There are 3 projects at CCMB that are supported by BFI Biome, and it's like we kind of gave 6 projects and they had their own internal review to come up with 3 projects, and eventually those 3 projects are going on. This is a 2-year thing, but it's something which is, I would say that they're also supporting other places because of other CSR institute like CDRI, and I think CCMB relation with BFI became the template for how CDRI is going to execute it. So this is an aspect where I believe this collaboration is kind of, I would say, in its first year, and it's something that we hope will give something useful to the community at a research level, as well as its interactions, and this thing with the AIC would end up be giving us something useful. And we have always kind of worked closely with BIRAC, CIDESCO, and other CROs. This is something that we have. AIC CCMB specifically has worked closely with many of these things. BIRAC is something that I kind of know when it started off, because I was part of National Institute of Immunology prior to this. And at that time, Dr. Bhan was talking about BIRAC, and I was a very young scientist. I was 3 or 4 years into NII at that time. There was a huge talk about BIRAC, and it was like something that I didn't understand very well at that time. And but the man is a visionary. He started BIRAC, and you can see that his vision has paid off in a big way, and BIRAC has in fact supported so many startups. And in fact, one of the BIRAC's BioNest is actually there in Delhi University, and which is run by my better half. So there are, kind of had an association in many ways with BIRAC as a reviewer, as this or that, and even had one BIRAC project as an investigator, that too with your current secretary. So CIDESCO and CROs and other regulatory agencies, being here today actually talking about this particular scenario, because it would actually help our students and all the entrepreneurs who are around here understand the landscape more than anything else. I'm telling you, landscape is not something people are aware of. I'm telling you, even I'm not very comfortable with knowing the I know the, I would say, overall it's almost like knowing alphabets but not the words. So we need to understand this, and I think stakeholders need to understand all the more. And so I would appreciate, I appreciate the thought, and I appreciate the fact that we are doing this. And I would say all the best for the workshop. With this opening remarks, I want to let experts take over and talk about what this landscape is really about and what kind of guidelines are there for the novel healthcare solutions. Thank you.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to MyStartupTV.
నా పేరు వివేకవర్ధిని. అయితే మేము మెట్పల్లి ఎఫ్ఈఓ నుండి ఇక్కడికి పులాస అగ్రి హబ్ దగ్గరికి వచ్చాము. అయితే ఇక్కడ మేము అందరం కలిసి స్టార్టప్ కంపెనీలతోని టైఅప్ అవ్వడం ఎలాగూ, మరియు రైతులు అధునాతనంగా ఇక్కడ కొన్ని కంపెనీలతోని మిషన్స్, ఇన్నోవేషన్స్ చూపించడం జరిగింది. రైతులకు వీటిని మేము అక్కడ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేసి వారితోని ఇంకా ఈ వరిలో కలుపు మొక్కలు తీయడం కానీ, వరిలో దుక్కిలో కలుపు మొక్కలని ఏర్వేసే మిషన్ల గురించి కానీ, కోతుల బెడద నుంచి సోలారు పెన్షనింగ్ కానీ అవన్నీ చూడడం జరిగింది. అవి ఎంతో ఉపయోగకరంగా ఉంటాయి. అయితే ఒక రైతు తీసుకోవడం అది ఎంతో కష్టం, కానీ ఎఫ్ఈఓ ద్వారా కొనుగోలు చేసి వాటిని రైతులకు అందించి మరింత రైతుల పురోగభివృద్ధికి దోహదం చేసే విషయాలను చాలా విషయాలు 3 గంటలలో చెప్పడం జరిగింది. ఇది మాకు కానీ రైతులకు కానీ ఎంతో ఉపయోగపడుతుందని అనుకుంటున్నాను.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to MyStartupTV.
Hi, my name is Akshay. I am a founder and CEO of Studivity, and this startup is the mission is to create a movie with an AI. Okay, and with this help, around hundreds of thousands of filmmakers are using our platform to streamline their pre-planning and pre-production journey. Think of it, currently, many people are generating Ghibli, okay? But if you get a sequence of all those storyboarding, how would it look like? Then it would easier for the, creators to pitch their concept for the directors, producers, arrange the finance and create a blockbuster movies, web series and all. And yeah, and this I came here in the Mahakumbh. Okay, we are incubated by IIM Kasipur. I am from IIT Roorkee itself, and this is the innovations that we bring it to the world. And currently, we are the leading player in this industry. Mahakumbh has given me an immense pleasure to connect with other people, startup investors, those who come to our pod, and we have also built many connections. Some of them are also foreigners, those who visited our pod and they are really interested in our startup. So yeah, it's a wonderful journey being here, and I feel lots of entrepreneurs have to visit here for the networking, and they also find lots of colleagues here. So thank you so much. I feel like, our young generation is very passionate about driving things, education. India have the power. India is an IT hub. So they have a talent, resources, each and everything. Just they want a direction, mentorship support, and a financial aid. So it will really helping them with this, environment and what Indian government is doing. So yeah, I feel like that's all. And thank you MyStartupTV for featuring our startup and coming here. It's my pleasure.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to MyStartupTV.
So myself Ankit Agarwal, I am representing Samaj.ai. We are into video analytics, as you can see. So we have a large customer base, and we are primarily solving out the problems for national highways authority of India. So in terms of, you can see the client base presently we are catering, that is national highways, the tunnel division, the enterprise security, and this, as you can see, we are detecting the number plate of the vehicles with the speed and getting the challans. We are thankful for the government to help us give the opportunity to start to exhibit our showcase event.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to MyStartupTV.
Ankur Dhanuka. I am a founder of Keenedge Technologies. We are a Bangalore-based AI product studio. At the moment, we have 7 product exposures in areas like construction, tech, education, HR, learning and development. And I am at the Startup Mahakumbh 2nd edition 2025 to explore what AI world has to offer. And I am seeing folks over here making so many things in AI, forming collaborations. Absolutely, I see a lot of fast moving trends happening, especially in the Indian ecosystem. We are a developer community out here in India, and which will make for the world. So for example, we are making one of the use cases as niche LLMs for the education sector. So people who are developing, they need to actually take this long shot as well. not just make something in 3 to 4 days and call themselves as product. We need to think big. That's how the Indian ecosystem will start to impact the world. And at the same time, a message to all folks in my ecosystem, my fellow founders or developers: distribution is going to be the moat. So you need to look at distribution, not just the building part of it. And guys, speed is the killer over here. If you are not up to speed, you will become a dinosaur very soon. That's my message.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
Hi, my name is Bhavesh Kothari. I am the Chief Executive Officer of MSSU iSpark Foundation, Section 8 company by Ratan Tata Master State Skills University, supported by MSINS. We have around 40 odd startups that we have incubated over the past 6-7 months. And out of that, we have been able to bring around 15 startups to the Startup Mahakumbh 2025. I think this is truly a Mahakumbh in its sense, because कुंभ के मेले में आप खो जाते हो, वैसे यहाँ पे स्टार्टअप महाकुंभ में आप खो जाओगे. इतना इनोवेशन है, इतना पैशन है, इतना एनर्जी है. One of the beautiful parts about the Startup Mahakumbh is that there is a 40% representation of women-led founded startups, जो कि एक अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ी बात है. With the kind of energy for the past 3 days, the kind of engagement for the past 3 days, I think it's phenomenal. ये सच में ये एक महाकुंभ है, and we are hoping that this is going to go much more larger, much more bigger, and where we will have global startups coming here and engaging with the local startup community. I think ये एक बहुत बड़ी community बन जाएगी. And kudos to our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, kudos to Shri Piyush Goyal ji, kudos to DPIIT and Secretary and Joint Secretary sir, and to the entire organizing team of DPIIT. Special thanks to Mamta Venkatesh ji from Axel for helping us bring around 15 startups from our cohort to this particular Mahakumbh and culminate and help them nurture and grow. I think one last message to all the entrepreneurs: keep hustling, keep innovating, and make sure that you make India a proud country and take it to the global level. So all the very best, and look forward to again meeting you at Startup Mahakumbh 2026. Thank you so much.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
We have, about $680 billion to support the startups. So we would love to attract India startups to come to Korea. Startup Mahakumbh was really great choice of our government.
Hello, welcome to My Startup TV. I'm Major Sunil Shetty. We are here at Startup Mahakumbh. We are at Bharat Mandapam, and I have my special guest with me, Crystal, who is the manager for Global Partnership Team. Crystal, thanks for talking to My Startup TV.
Nice to meet you. I'm Crystal Lee. I came from Korean government agency, specialized for the startup support.
So, Crystal, let's start by understanding, about startup ecosystem in Korea.
Okay, yeah, South Korea is not, I know it is very popular in terms of the culture, but startup is also very strong in South Korea. We have fast growing ecosystem now, and Korean government is leading that ecosystem with lot of cooperation partners. So we have,